Joining.
Nice. Where's everybody tuning in from? Tell us where you're from.
We're in Nashville, Tennessee. At Local Honey. This is Brian Hickman.
Hello.
Hello.
Introduce everyone. This is Andy. Tell them your tag. Everyone share your...
I'm Andy. Andy _ does your hair. And say hello.
Hi. I'm Ashley. At Ashley Jean Nolan.
Is that your band page?
No. My band page is Oh No Smoke Shows. Hey.
Oh no,
There you
smoke
go.
shows.
Gotta share that.
People are from Chicago, Sacramento, Arizona, Toronto, Vancouver, Canada, Connecticut, UK,
Wow. All over.
Melbourne.
Wow.
So cool.
You get the award for furthest away.
True.
That's awesome. So far. Right?
Yeah, so
That's
far.
Awesome. I'm from
Ireland.
Chicago. Ireland. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm from Chicago originally, but I've lived here for 13 years.
Hello, Kelly.
Hey Kelly, thanks for having us. So so a little French bob. We had our corners already established from the previous cut, so we're kind of leaving these corners where they are, but lifting everything up to center. Breakdown for the rest of the cut, we are we're gonna go kind of more of a classic bob shape in the back, but then as we move to the front, we're gonna angle up to the crease for a lip. We're gonna do a little cut out subsections by the ears, just to, as she tucks, give it a little bit of movement and give it a little point of interest. But both, considering her, how we're gonna frame her, that's why we're gonna have it crease up towards her lip. We really love when it hits there. And then same thing with those tuckable pieces. We're gonna have those scoop out right at the lip, at the crease for her lip. So hang out with us if you like, if you have time. I'm just gonna cross-check my work, double-check my corners. And I just see some little stragglers I'm gonna get, and then I'm just gonna scoop a bit of weight out too. So I'm just looking for inconsistent density or areas that I want to air out. So the center, I want to exaggerate that a little bit more. So I'm going to go in there. I'm going to kind of come across and look. And you can see the density changes as it builds to the corner. So I'm just picking up where my eye is drawn to the weight. Cut out little pockets, little steep triangles. I don't want to take away from my length, but just little bits. And just looking at, like I said, where my eye is drawn.
What is your cutting comb?
It's a Durlin that a friend sent that to me. Yeah. So I've tried that recently. Always trying. My razor is actually harebrained, but I kind of Frankensteined it with my dad. This was my dad's old handle from when he was a barber back in the day. So I like hacked what with the razor, which I really love. But just change it out. More sentimental value than anything like that.
That's adorable.
Yeah. So now we'll come off this before we head to back, and we're gonna just pivot. I want this to be small enough again that this comes over and it goes away. But we're just gonna take this little section, and I'm gonna exaggerate this a little bit. So. I could connect right here, but I might exaggerate just a little bit where this is going to go. So again, I'm just gonna establish where I want my length to fall. I like that cushion of knowing like I'm not going to cut past anything and knowing where I'm cutting. So that's just like I established my length. Same with the fringe, like I knew where my corner was. I'm cutting center to corner. And then I have my guide here if I wanted to follow it, but like I said, I'm going to exaggerate that line just a little bit more. So hopefully this kicks out a little bit more and that sets in just a tad.
We have a question. What's the name of this kind of bang?
I would say, I mean, my instinct is to say something like a shaggier bang. That exaggerated line makes it more. What would you say, Andy? Would you?
Yeah, I would agree. It's a nice fringe that will grow out well into curtain bangs as well.
Yeah, the thing with when you exaggerate the line like that, it really grows out softer and easier, which is cool. And I love the kick like I said, the kick that you can get from like put those corners pushing out.
Do you have to change the blade after every cut with this razor?
No, it's pretty much. I mean, it's all based on comfort. I've worked with people in the past that like a duller blade because of the drag. So much of that is what's comfortable for you. I usually change it between 1 and 2 cuts. Because that's like at some point I don't like when it's dragging too much, you know.
Yeah.
So really personal preference, but instinct would say between 1 and 2. So again, little exaggeration. Using about there as a point of reference.
Gerard says hello. Sounds rocking in there. Nice to see you, Gerard.
Hey Gerard, can you hear us okay? Or is it too loud?
We also have a question from Baby Crowlocks. Love that name. How do you determine how far back to go with your original sectioning, and do you use the flat of the comb trick?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's my go-to if I want it to be substantial. Like that to me is like the classic. I mean, even to almost say somewhat generic, because that's where we start. But then what I'm going to do after that is look at, is there any inconsistencies in the recession? Is it stronger on one side to the other? And then I will vary that section. So this is pretty classic, but her hair wants to break slightly off center, so I just pushed it slightly off center. And then, but then again, yeah, just look at those details as you're, as you're cutting, whoever you're cutting, model or client. So start with that. And then just investigate a little bit.
It's also great just to see exactly visually in your mind where you want things to lay.
Yeah. And so see what that's doing, or I mean, like that's going to be super cute. Like just if it's with the tuck back, right? So now we'll build off the rest of the cut. So again, we're going to flip to the back real quick with sectioning.
Oh, glad to hear we're both very clear. That's
okay,
great.
I want to be filming for Andy next. I want to film Andy's hair braid live. What do you think?
That'd be fun.
It's rare that we get to watch each other.
I know it is.
Because most of the time we're working, not necessarily in the same vicinity, or we're teaching together. So I honestly look forward to filming yours so I can just like watch you.
Yeah, that's how I feel when I watch yours.
I feel like it's been in 2 days. It's been a year since we taught out of the salon.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
A year. Since New York. Yeah. And that's how we taught differently, or at different times last year. And I was able to watch you and film you and stuff, which is awesome.
True. Wow.
Right?
Time is flying.
Crazy. So I'm just like, I'm going to really work this first section a little bit more detailed. So I'm going to split it up like I'm graduating, but just so I can kind of pick apart what's happening and get really detailed with this. After we build this, I'm going to build a little bit of strength in the line. And then I probably will put a little bit of graduation on top of that. So it's like, this is going to be real detailed and almost like subtly undercut. And then, like I said, the rest will rest over, and then, like I said, like maybe a pinch of graduation in there too. But I'm really trying to carve this out, so you'll see me shaving little bits like this. I'm not worried. I want it to be kind of sawed up, kind of really jaggedy. I don't know a better way to say it.
Fringed out. Really.
Yeah. So that when the hair does move. It's just super soft.
Are you
But-
taking triangular sections and over directing to the center to cut the extra
Yeah, I'm
length?
kind of just I'm not over directing to the
Okay,
center.
cool.
I'm kind of just like I would like a triangular graduation, but I'm just pulling it straight down.
Cool.
So like with any razor cut, there's gonna be some elevation, but I'm not trying to create a ton at this point. It's more controlling the hairline.
Looks at the monitor. Wow, that's pretty. I did that.
Yeah.
We have a question from Tyler Randall Hair. Is this going to be a bob?
It is gonna be a bob. So little French bob, and so my razor cutting has gone down over the last almost year. But I've missed it. Andy and I taught a class last week together here, and I felt inspired. We both, we decided that that's what we wanted to teach, and I felt inspired to bring it back out. And so it's making its way back into what I do. But that's the fun thing about, for me, over time, what we do is those seasons where you'll just be concentrating on a look or a tool or whatever. I would say I would have never thought that I would be using a curling iron, but through this season I've used the curling iron more and the flat iron and all these things, where for a few years before all that I didn't want to have anything to do with that. I was just everything natural, and which I still love that approach, but it's kind of fun to throw in an iron a little bit around the face or around the perimeter, and then still leave that natural texture happening on the surface. It still feels like my work, but a little bit more polished maybe in some ways. So
It's also really nice to see, like, encourage models and other stylists and people who wear their hair just natural in general, that is a completely valid way too, and you don't have to always take an iron to your hair, but if you wanted to do bits and pieces for a different and have fun with it,
yeah,
I think that's powerful too.
and it's such like a simple thing to do that first inch or inch and a half to 2 inches around the face. Like it's such a simple thing that someone could do to change the look. But we're such proponents of natural, as natural as we can, like push for simplicity, strong shapes and simplicity within the styling.
Let's see, where are we? Kelly says that y'all wear the same mask. That's amazing.
Who does?
You and Kelly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Mask twin.
What is the brand of the comb again, for people asking?
It's a Duralin is the thing.
Cool, it's getting a
But
lot of love.
I'm like, yeah, these are on both of these. I really like this too. And you could get this one on hair braiding. This is
Is that the YS card?
339, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the YS part. But I feel like in this season I've played around with different tools too, all that stuff. So you gotta keep curious and keep interested. So I feel like that's strong enough for me. And then I'll start doing like a really low graduation now. So it'll be the same. I mean, I was kind of using the same or similar section. So I'm gonna pop that through. And again, I was cutting more here. I'm just gonna start elevating ever so slightly. I want to create a little push here, and we'll create a little push in the crown just to give it kind of a better visual front to back, better balance. So I like all that weight that we'll be creating. But I just want to give it these subtle details that I think make it mine and hers and all that stuff. So you can see my guide. It's not huge. And I'm gonna start getting a little broader with the stroke too. So you can see there's still a line there, but it's just gonna be broader. And I think as I get into the next section too, I'll probably start taking a little bit more weight out before I'm taking this, making this shape.
I love how much swing that's going to give it.
Totally. Yeah, I feel like the longer I've done this, I really, well, I mean, I was gonna say I love the subtle details. Details are what make it, right?
Yeah.
But I do love these subtle things that, you know, playing around with the techniques we've learned and pushing it down further, or, you know, doing something we would do up here, back here. That makes it so much, keeps it interesting. Any questions?
Why is this cut with a razor opposed to shears?
I just want it to be a little bit softer and swingier, which again, you can achieve that. It's just, I think you can achieve something very similar. It's just a tool of choice. And I've cut Ashley's hair a lot of different ways with shears and with the razor, and I think the razor has a better effect. Do you agree or no?
Do I personally, or
Do you
Yeah.
agree? Yeah. I think last time I cut it with a shear, and then to look, I mean, that's a cool thing about Instagram, or just honestly taking pictures. I think Instagram just motivates me to take pictures more of my work, but then I can study it. You know, like her last haircut, I really liked it, but part of me within looking back, I'm like, maybe it was better with the razor. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun to be able to play around in those differences and challenge yourself to create your perspective with all tools.
What do most of y'all cut with a razor or more with a shear? And if you do use a razor, do you use a straight razor or do you use a guarded?
Joe Profita wants to know what made you decide to use the wider teeth of your comb while razor cutting this haircut.
I think because I'm just taking those. It's just I don't have to be so precise with it, so I can still get the smoothness that I want, but I'm not trying to get it incredibly tight or yeah, like I don't need that tension, so I'm not like cranking down on it. I think like I always come back to the last one and maybe do it once or twice.
It also, like, you're giving that, like, room to listen to what it wants to do. Okay, Tyler says, I use a guarded razor, but I've heard straight razor is better, but why?
It's not better. It's again, it's personal preference. I think, you know, Andy and I have talked about this. This is just what I was trained to use, and I think back in the day, I took lots of classes from Bumble at Bumble, and it was cool to use a straight razor. But I think at this point, the people that I've seen that taught back then will tell you. I mean, it's slightly different, but it's just preference, you know. Yeah, I think back in the day, it was very cool to wield this, you know.
Baby Krolock says, I feel like I'm still too timid with a razor. And then Kelly MacLeod, 1987, says, I feel you, I'm the same.
What's that?
Just being too timid with a razor.
Gotcha.
Any suggestions on how to...
I think my instinct would say, you know, get a mannequin and cut a classic bob, cut a graduated bob, cut a classic shape with the razor, and that will help your discipline in terms of, you know, sections and knowing what your lines are supposed to be, or even like whatever your most comfortable haircut is. That's what I would almost say is choose that and cut it how you would cut it, but play with the razor. So then it's not like you're not like trying to do something new, you're going to an old favorite just with a different tool. You said, Andy, you were comfortable right off the get-go with your more comfortable with your razor. Were there any like key things that
Yeah, I personally feel more comfortable using a razor, else at least it felt a little bit more natural than using shears, because instead of using the two blades, you just have the one, so I was able to approach it like I would to like sketch a shape in. If I were to actually visually draw hair, I would draw it to a point, but I was not cutting hair that way. So then it kind of made sense for me when I was able to use it like a pencil or a pen. I was like, oh, I can achieve exactly what I want to with that effect. So it felt pretty natural for me.
Which I'm the same. It was not for me. It was not like a comfortable thing. I think I used shears for a good was focused on shears for a handful of years. Some of my education early on with Tony and Guy, and they did have like that kind of tool, like that razor tool, like the guarded thing too. But I think I was a little bit spent more time with the shear before I jumped to the razor. So it took me a minute for sure. So I'm just checking. I missed a little bit right here. Cool. And I'm gonna kind of just come back through, especially back here. For the front, where right behind the ear, I'm going to air this out a little extra. So I'll stretch this out, go from shorter to longer, shorter to longer. And I'll just do this in a few sections. We might need to do it more when it's dry. We'll check it out. But I feel like I can be pretty aggressive right here. I just want that, as it transitions, I want that stuff to give a little extra help right there.
Do you razor cut curly hair? I have always been taught not to.
To me it depends on what you're trying to achieve. I feel like if you think about it in school, you have to they have to give you some baselines, but I think some of them are a little outdated. And of course there's some people where it's not great on if it's too coarse or wiry, but if the person wants, like I like my hair to do that, and so I want it to be roughed up. Does that look crazy?
It looks good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's things like I want my hair cut into, and I want to use a harsher shampoo so my hair is dry and coarse and wiry. So if you want someone that they want their hair to be like Kramer, then of course you could do. Like you want push, and support and everything. So I think there's certain absolutes in what we do, but I don't like to speak in most of them, Sorry.
It's so satisfying removing density.
Totally. So it's clean line.
Break through it.
And so to me, I do like it, and I can get a somewhat similar effect with my shear, but I do like this type of texture where it's more seamless. And I know some people love the texturizing shears. I just find there's always going to be a little bit of a crunchy line with the texturizing shears, where with this it's more like they're really steep triangles, so there's no start and stop. That's a big reason why I'm a fan of the razor. I'm going to knock out this whole back before we move on to the front.
Or photos of themselves, so you can kind of figure out where.
Yeah, it's kind of like, for me, it's been nice. I do have this little room that I've been working in, and which I can stand 10 feet back. So I'll either ask them to show me a photo, or I'll stand back far enough that I can have them take their masks off just for 20, 30 seconds, and just get a glimpse of their face. The people that I've cut before, and you know, taking photos of course, like I remember, you know,
You
I remember.
know where their face, yeah.
So yeah.
I've been doing the photo thing as well. That's been working out well.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see little client selfies
Totally,
to see like
totally.
where
Like, what-
fully lives on their face.
Yeah. Totally. So I'm not really cutting into the hair yet because I'm kind of studying the way things are gonna jump and then how much density, like, you know, I'm seeing little things, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm taking my time with the texture.
Pune1438 says hello and good job.
Oh, thanks. Where are you? That was nice that you said all the numbers in there. I like that. I am gonna do a little. So I'm seeing some of the weight built up. So I'm gonna, again, just where I see, like, if I know, I'm gonna do it, but if I'm not sure, I'm gonna let it rest so I can make an educated choice. And I can see on that section, I feel like it needs a little bit more. But so much of what I like to do is cut and look, and then we can kind of study.
That's an intense angle to remove from. That looks good.
Yeah. So just like those deep, and it was just that slice, and we'll like once we cut the surface, then we'll see, do we want to keep that through, or then the surface laying over look a little bit nicer with where it's just in between, you know. My instinct is telling me we're probably going to do something on the surface, but again, we'll see. Looking a little pieces or taking. You see me okay? Am I blocking the camera?
No, yeah, you're good.
I'm doing a little bit, but not. I'm gonna let that rest and we'll see what we want to do. Cool. So same thing over here. Take our sliver off the front hairline, so we have our little safety spot. We know where we want to go. Slightly diagonal forward. And again, we'll check our balance. Look where the ear naturally wants to split. Where that's hooking over the ear. That's going to go behind. So again, my point of reference is like right in there. Gonna check that balance. Still have that happy feeling when I can cut about balance. You're probably sick of me saying that.
No, it's real.
There's like a little nibble. I was off by that much.
True. The baby's little amount.
So right away that side feels a little bit bulkier. Like, see that in there? So
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to kind of. I'm gonna ease into it, so I'm not. I'm just gonna look. That's enough for now. Again, that's kind of building up. So. How's everybody doing out there? Any more questions?
You're getting a lot of thumbs ups, and it looks great. It looks perfect. Hard eyes, thumbs up, thumbs up.
You like me.
You like you. Oh my god, I love that. I love the thumbs ups. They're so
Me too.
good.
Yeah. I'm glad. I hope this is useful. I hope this is something you can take back and use it in the salon. And here's this midsection that we can be a little bit more aggressive with. Last section of the perimeter. So most of this haircut is the perimeter, right? Like within, the texture within it. And then we're gonna look, like I said. How's that looking?
It looks amazing. Which, we have a question from Ida_Idona1. Which one are the best shears?
Ah, that's a tough one. I use a few different shears. I hate
Yeah.
I feel like I use a couple pairs of Mizutani. I also use a pair of arcs that I really like. That are, like those were kept kind of at my workhorses. The arcs. These last handful of months, maybe close to a year, coming back. But I do, I do mix it up. But those have been my go-tos. The arcs have.
Sarah352_Todd Burr is asking us to save the video. This is going to be saved on the Instagram page, correct?
Totally, yeah.
Perfect.
It'll be on Hairbrain's page.
And then we also have a question. Are you going to show us styling too?
I will do a little diffusing, and then we'll see. Like if we need to do more than that, then we will. I'm honestly feeling pretty good about. I'm gonna be. So I think I feel good. I don't want to layer this, but what I'm gonna do is, again, if anyone was watching, I'm gonna drop out that. I'm gonna drop out enough of the perimeter. And then I'm gonna do a little bit more aggressive texturizing within this to give this little kind of vintagey push up top. Again, just making sure I'm safe and I feel like my density, I like, where all that is before I start kind of slicing away. So all I'm gonna do is elevate this. So you saw, these are pretty airy, so I'm not gonna do it there.
Perfect.
So we got everything across that we wanted to, and I'm just gonna do one last little check off the bat. I'm just gonna do a mini little square right off the back of the bang just to see if I want to do a little bit more in there. And it's just a subtle spot, but see my texture in there. I got it almost right up, and I saw like, okay, that's still sitting heavy right behind it, so I just wanted to get a little push right behind it. Cool. All right, we're gonna do.
That's good.
I put some Arnco in prior. I started with motorcycle gel at the scalp. Mannequin paste through the end. I'm gonna come back into these bits that we just did, and I'm gonna use some salt spray, the Rockaway salt spray. I'm gonna do it right in that little spot, and then just the back part of the bang. Just for a little extra, I want that grippy, just like really just to swell. So diffuse a little bit. Too cool. That sounded like an old dad or something. It's like spewed out of my mouth. That sounds good. So I'm gonna elevate up here, lift up here. This is for me is now acting as a hood dryer for the most part.
Okay.
Kind of comb this stuff in place early on. That's starting to do what I want it to do. But I want this push up here.
Yeah.
And then we're just gonna come up underneath and just kind of build volume, build that fullness. Do a lot of you do natural styling or use a diffuser? What most people go to out there? And if you don't style with a diffuser or do more natural, is it because of your own taste or the taste of your client? Just curious what everyone else is doing out in the world.
Did everybody hear that all right? Just curious what,
Was I not loud enough?
No, I think you were loud enough. I'm just making sure over the diffuser.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, no
participate.
answers.
Play with us.
Alright, diffuse as much as possible. I love enhancing their natural texture. This is Martian Follicles.
Hey, Krista. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Team Luis _ says, beautiful, great cut. I believe earlier on they said that they are also in Nashville as well.
Oh, cool.
Very fun.
Where do you work?
I diffuse but always feel like I have to go back in and dry more. I might be too impatient.
I feel like for me, if you don't wait, if you're not patient with, like, because it really gets good in those last couple, like when you're really getting it all the way, almost all the way to dry.
Yeah.
I feel like there's times when I start and I'm like, oh crap, like, is this gonna work? Honestly, like,
Yeah.
the internal dialogue is happening. But most times when I wait it out, it works. And then if I have to like help it a little bit, I would rather get the client to that point where to show them, okay, you could almost try it natural, and then just enhance it with a few quick things rather than like going all the way, like fully curling it or fully ironing it or whatnot.
I know a few stylists who as well also will kind of rough dry with a nozzle at the roots and then reset and diffuse everything else after that.
Nice.
I haven't personally done that too much,
I
but
haven't done that either.
I think it sounds fun.
The other day I was running behind with like a model, like my day was busy, and I pumped the diffuser up to high, which is not, you know, I've been told a certain thing, which is funny.
Yeah.
I try to analyze what I've been told, and it still turned out good. You know,
Yeah.
I was still happy with how it turned out. In certain areas, I turned it down.
Yeah.
But underneath, it was fine. It was fine back here to build the shape, but then as I got to the surface, I lowered it back down.
Yeah.
How's it up there? I have no mirror.
It looks really great.